Take a walk after you eat, after your main meals. Main meals because that's where we get the bigger chunk of our daily calories. Take advantage of that opportunity after your main meals to take a walk, about 10 minutes. It's very popular advice. It doesn't have to be a 10-minute walk. It could be just any light activity. Walk in place, walk around your house, walk up and down your stairs. You can start sweeping the floors, cleaning up, washing the dishes manually, something that you're actively moving. Okay, but not so much that you have to run a marathon or you're PRing on a squat or something like that. No, light activity so that enough blood could still be used to facilitate digestion, but not overly having to take all that blood away to go to the working muscles, all right? Now, yes, light activity after a meal can help with digestion, but even more importantly, it's a golden opportunity for you to manipulate your metabolism and how we use food for energy, or how we store energy in our body and or how to use it. So after we eat, blood sugar goes up. So there's a hormonal response to that to help manage our blood sugar. Insulin, secreted by the pancreas, helps manage that, takes that excess or extra glucose from the blood, puts it into the tissues, into our body. Essentially stores it into our tissues. So after we eat, what do we usually do? We usually sit down and just want to do nothing because we won't want to interfere with the digestive process. But in reality, what's going on is we're training ourselves to store the extra, the glucose in the blood, to store it for later use, whether it's in the form of glycogen, where the glucose is stored, or it could be stored as fat in our fat cells, in our fat tissues. So when we eat too much, obviously, it's going to go more into fat for a long term. So when you take a walk, you see, anytime you move, you engage, you turn on muscles. Muscles need that energy in order for them to function. So muscles are like the cushions that take up that extra hormonal load so that we don't have to use as much insulin, okay? We get into the habit of using too much insulin, eventually become hyperinsulinemia, where there's too much insulin in the blood, or insulin resistant, diabetes, etc., where we no longer sensitized, we're desensitized to the insulin. So that starts creating more and more havoc. You start to need to secrete more insulin to get the effect to lower the blood sugars. But in reality, what's going on is we just start storing more, or become easier to store more and more fat, okay? So after a meal, get into the habit of moving, okay? Try it. It's not gonna be too difficult. It's not something where you have to do a full CrossFit WOD or something like that. After the main meals, where you have the biggest chunk of your daily calories, get moving.